All right, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
It is Friday.
It is.
Gave our kids a different treat today, and they don't quite know what to do with it.
All right.
But he does. He's picking it up.
Peanut butter and hot dogs.
Peanut butter and hot dogs. Two great tastes that go great together. Anyway, today, Paul arrives at Jerusalem. Acts chapter 21, starting at verse 15.
If you give your dog peanut butter, look at the ingredients and don't give any burnt sugar or xylitol. It'll kill them.
Yeah. Acts chapter 21, starting at verse 15. After this, we packed our things and left for Jerusalem. Some believers from Caesarea accompanied us, and they took us to the home of Manasseh, a man originally from Cyprus and one of the early believers. When we arrived, the brothers and sisters in Jerusalem welcomed us warmly. The next day, Paul went with us to meet with James, and all the elders of the Jerusalem church were present. After greeting them, Paul gave a detailed account of the things God had accomplished among the Gentiles through his ministry. After hearing this, they praised God, and then they said, "You know, dear brother, how many thousands of Jews have also believed, and they all follow the law of Moses very seriously. But the Jewish believers here in Jerusalem have been told that you are teaching all the Jews who live among the Gentiles to turn their backs on the laws of Moses. They've heard that you teach them not to circumcise their children or to follow Jewish customs. What should we do? They will certainly hear that you have come. Here's what we want you to do. We have 4 men here who have completed their vow. Go with them to the temple and join them in the purification ceremony, paying for them to have their heads ritually shaved. Then everyone will know that the rumors are false, that you yourself observe the Jewish laws. As for the Gentile believers, they should not do what we already told them in a letter. They should abstain. They should do what that we have told them in a letter. They should abstain from eating food offered to idols, from consuming blood or the meat of strangled animals, and from sexual immorality. And now the commentary. James, Jesus' brother, was the leader of the Jerusalem church. Acts chapter 15, verse 13 through 21, and Galatians chapter 1, verse 19, and chapter 2, verse 9. The Jerusalem Council, Acts chapter 15, had settled the issue of circumcision for Gentile believers. Evidently, a rumor said that Paul had gone far beyond their decision, even forbidding Jews to circumcise their children. This, of course, was not true. So Paul willingly submitted to Jewish custom to show that he was not working against the council's decision and that he was still Jewish in his lifestyle. Sometimes we must go the second mile to avoid offending others, especially when doing so would hinder God's work. Because Paul was going to participate with the 4 men in the vow, apparently had been asked to pay for some of the required expenses. He would need to take part in the purification ceremony for entering the temple. Numbers chapter 6, verse 9 through 20. Paul submitted himself to the Jewish custom to keep peace in the Jerusalem church. Although Paul was a man of strong conviction, he was willing to compromise on non-essential points, becoming all things to all people so that he might save some. 1 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 19 through 23. Often churches split over disagreements about minor issues or traditions. Like Paul, we should remain firm on Christian essentials but flexible on non-essentials. Of course, no one should violate a true conviction, but sometimes we need to honor Christ by mutual submission for the sake of the good news. The Jewish laws can be thought of in 2 ways. 1, the Old Testament laws bring salvation to those who keep them. Paul rejected this idea. Salvation is freely given by God's gracious act. We receive salvation through faith. The laws are of no value for salvation except to show us our sin. 2, the Old Testament laws prepare for and teach about the coming of Jesus Christ. Paul accepted this view. Christ fulfilled the law and released us from the burden of guilt. But the law still teaches many valuable principles and provides guidelines for grateful living. Paul was not observing the laws in order to be saved. He was keeping the laws as custom to avoid offending those he wished to reach with the good news. See also Romans chapter 3, verse 21 through 31, chapter 7, verse 4 through 6, chapter 13, verse 9 through 10. And for more on the laws, see Galatians chapter 3, verse 23 through 29, chapter 4, verses 21 through 31. Because Jerusalem was under Roman control, an uproar in the city would be investigated by Roman authorities. The commander of the troops at this time, no, that was too far. That was the next one. Sorry. The
That's
next
all right.
comment.
I kind of look at this as went on a mission trip to Haiti, and the women at Haiti, the women on the mission trip going to Haiti, we were all required to wear skirts, dresses.
Mm-hmm.
Even though United States women can wear pants, Haitian women are wearing dresses.
Yeah.
So we wore what they wore to prevent offending them, so that our message would make more impact, so that they
Yeah.
would listen to us instead of being distracted by us wearing pants all the time.
Mm-hmm.
That's just one example of the way I think that this passage leads us to act like them, so that we don't take away from our message. We want them to hear our message.
Yeah. And Paul does say, where he says, the commentator says, he is all things to all people.
Yeah.
And so we try to do that too. If he says earlier, don't eat things that's going to offend
Right.
somebody.
Right.
Don't stand in the way of somebody just because you can eat things,
Right.
or you can be not circumcised.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay for you because you have that settled in your own mind between you and God, and you understand the truth. But if somebody doesn't, and you're trying to get to them, you don't want to just wave that in their face, and,
Right.
and then now they're just going to be bitter.
Right.
So you have to balance
Yeah.
your true beliefs versus customs and things to reach them, and maybe at that time you can show them the truth, and they might
True.
hear that.
True. We do have to be careful in our modern age, because there's so much motivation to be all inclusive.
Yeah.
And the way to heaven is not all inclusive. It's
No.
Jesus or
Right.
nothing. So we have to be careful not to cross that line or give people the wrong impression.
And like they said, on the essentials, that we know that Christ
Right.
is the way to heaven. We
Right.
can't bend on that. But
Right.
again, you need to wear a skirt because you're trying to reach somebody that says that all women need to wear a skirt. Okay, well, so be it.
Right.
It's not taking away anything from the good news.
Right.
Just speaking about that, I've heard a pastor say, a man walks into a church wearing a dress and everybody freaks out about it.
Yeah.
A woman walks in with pants on, nobody says a word.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's our culture.
It is our culture. It is our culture. It's just it's important because right now we've got coexist signs on
Yeah.
windows of cars, and
Yeah.
and you cannot let your beliefs minimalize the importance of Christ.
Yeah, the truth.
The truth.
Yeah.
And we can't cheerlead for all these things that we know is wrong.
Right. Exactly.
Biblically wrong.
Yeah.
So we have to make a stand where the stand is needed,
Mm-hmm.
and also make ourselves not be
We don't want to be a bully either.
right,
you know,
right,
but we don't have to be rolled over.
right.
So
And that's a fine line to carry.
it is. It very well, especially here in
Yeah.
America, it's very, very hard.
Yeah.
Because again, we're in the no offend culture at the
Right.
moment.
Right. And Christianity is one
It's
truth
very offensive.
they don't want to hear.
No, Christianity is very offensive to the lost.
Yeah.
Okay. Hope everybody has a glorious day, and we'll talk to you later.